Toby and the Whistling Woods. There had been a storm on the island of Sodor. The skies were still gray, and the clouds were still heavy, as the engines puffed and puffed. Toby was puffing proudly to Knapford Station. Sir Topham Hatt had a very special for him.
Toby, the Duke and Duchess of Boxford are arriving at tea time. They need coal to warm their house. You must deliver it right away.
Toby was very excited to be given such an important job. He had never delivered to the Duke and Duchess of Boxford's house before.
Right away, sir.
You must go through the Whistling Woods. The other track to the house is blocked. A tree fell across it in the storm.
Toby was worried. He had never taken the track through the Whistling Woods. He had always puffed along the other track.
I don't like the Whistling Woods. I think it's dark in there and full of strange noises.
But today, Toby would have to puff through the Whistling Woods. Toby chuffed up to Whistling Woods Junction. James and Thomas were there. They were shunting freight cars.
Hello, Toby.
But Toby didn't say hello to his friend Thomas. He was too busy looking at the Whistling Woods.
You look worried, Toby.
Toby was worried, but he wanted to be brave.
Hello, Thomas. I have to take this coal to the Duke and Duchess's house. I have to chuff through the Whistling Woods.
Then Toby's signal turned green. But he didn't chuff away. Thomas and James were puzzled.
Are you scared of the Whistling Woods, Toby?
Toby didn't want James to think he was a scaredy engine.
No, I'm not.
Thomas wanted to help his friend.
I can chuff through the woods with you, Toby.
Toby wanted Thomas's help, but he was an old engine.
Old engines can't be scaredy engines. I can't ask young engines for help.
So, Toby pumped his pistons.
No, thank you, Thomas. I don't need your help.
And Toby chuffed off into the Whistling Woods, all by himself. Toby's boiler jittered and juddered. The woods were very dark, and the trees looked very big. Toby wanted to be a brave engine, and not a scaredy engine.
I'm not scared of the Whistling Wood. I'll puff straight on, like Thomas would.
Suddenly, Toby heard a strange sound. It made his wheels wobble.
What was that?
Then, Toby heard the noise again.
Bust my buffers! These woods are too scary for me.
Toby huffed hard backwards out of the Whistling Woods, straight into the two freight cars James and Thomas had shunted. Thomas and James were surprised, and so was Toby.
Fizzling fireboxes! I'm sorry. What happened, Toby? Were you scared?
I can puff through the woods with you, Toby.
Toby did want James's help, but he still thought old engines couldn't ask young ones for help.
No, thank you, James. I don't need your help.
So, Toby puffed back into the Whistling Woods, all by himself. Toby chuffed further and further.
I'm not scared of the Whistling Wood. I'll puff straight on like Thomas would.
Then he heard another strange noise.
Pumping pistons. What's that? These woods are far too scary.
So Toby huffed his hardest out of the Whistling Woods. straight into the 4 freight cars James and Thomas had shunted. Toby was upset.
Trembling trucks! I'm sorry.
Once again, Thomas wanted to help his friend Toby.
Toby, let us help you puff through the woods.
We can puff through with you.
Toby really wanted James and Thomas's help, but he still thought old engines couldn't ask young ones for help.
No, thank you.
So, Toby puffed back into the Whistling Woods all by himself. He clickety-clacked along the track.
I'm not scared of the Whistling Wood. I'll puff straight on, like Thomas would.
Then, Toby heard the strangest noise of all.
Trembling trams! What's that noise?
Toby's boiler bubbled and his wheels wobbled. He pumped his pistons and raced back out of the woods, straight into the 6 freight cars Thomas and James had shunted. Toby felt terrible.
Oh no! This is a disaster! I've spoilt your freight cars. The Duke and Duchess won't get their coal on time. And I'm an old and scaredy engine.
Toby looked at his friends. They weren't calling him a scaredy engine. Toby could see they were worried for him.
I'm sorry. I thought an old engine couldn't ask for help. But now I see that you're never too old to ask for help. Please, will you puff through the Whistling Woods with me?
Thomas and James were happy to help.
Of course, Toby. Follow us.
Soon, Toby's freight car was full of coal. Then, Toby followed James and Thomas into the Whistling Woods. Slowly, Toby, Thomas, and James chuffed and puffed along the track.
There's my friend, the snowy owl.
The snowy owl flew above their heads. It was sweet and fluffy.
Oh, my!
Toby couldn't believe he had been scared of the friendly owl. Then, Toby heard another noise.
What's that?
It's the woodland waterfall. Look.
The waterfall was wonderful. It tinkled and sparkled. It clattered and splattered on the stones.
Buffers and bumpers. That's beautiful.
Then, the engines heard a noise that was very, very strange.
What's that?
It's the wind whistling through the woods.
It's the Whistling Woods.
Toby smiled. He wasn't a scaredy engine anymore. He was very happy he had asked his friends for help.
I may be old, but now I'm happy.
And Toby smiled all the way to the Duke and Duchess's house.